Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Got another CROSSOUT video for us today. Now this video is going to be a continuation of the building videos I've been doing over the past week or two. And the specific purpose of this video is going to be around protecting your weapons in CROSSOUT. We talk about the firing angles and the armor around it. So I figured that was an important video to do because one of the most efficient ways to cripple someone in this game or take someone out of the fight, so to speak, would be to just destroy their weapons. And there are a lot of weapons in the game whereby they are quite squishy. You do not require a lot of damage to be dealt to them in order for them to lose them. And once you do lose a weapon, for example, that's a huge chunk of your overall damage output taken away. So protecting your guns in this game is incredibly important. And even if you are running the squishier guns, you're going to want to build whereby it protects those weapons as much as it can. So it's worth knowing about. Basically, this video, we're going to break it down into three segments. The first segment is going to be the firing angles of a weapon, how you set them up as optimally as you can. The second part is going to be about armoring weapons, the best armor pieces you put around your weapons and which ones work well with which weapon and stuff like that. And then thirdly, we're going to talk about how to make the angle of your fire as tight as possible with your armor. That's it's kind of an overlooked part of the game, but it is quite important. And I think it's just a good general rule of thumb when you're building to make the angle as tight as possible. I'll get to that later in the video, but just that's going to be part 3. So anyway, first part we're going to be talking about is the field of view, or the firing angle, setting that up for each of your weapons. So we'll jump into it now. We're going to use this Joule car as an example because I think it quite well illustrates how you can set things up. Okay, I'm moving on to the best armor pieces to use for protecting your weapons in the game. Now, this isn't going to be the same for every case, but the majority of the time, you're going to want to use the reinforced parts. Now, there's two different types in the game. You've got the longer 2x6s here, and then you've got the cover plates, which are slightly smaller. If you're looking for a single piece to use, the armored slabs are going to be the best ones to use because they're more efficient. They've got 49 durability, but they've got 85% bullet resistance. Now, most of the time, you're going to be taking bullet damage, so that's the key resistance that you want to keep an eye on here. And with the durability and resistances, that means that a 49 durability piece with 85% resistance means it only takes 15%, which gives this piece about over 300 durability against bullet damage. Now, that's only on the reinforced section here. So this part, for those who don't know, has no resistances. This part has the resistances. So that is 49 Dura, that is 300 plus Dura. And we've got the 300 plus Dura protecting the guns, and you get all of that durability in only 2 squares wide by 1 square thick, which is incredibly useful. If I wanted to get, say, a 300 durability bumper, here instead it would be significantly, the hitbox would be significantly bigger, which means it would impact on the firing angles of the gun. So the majority of the time you're going to want to use armor slabs in and around the guns if possible, because in this instance, for example, the resistances of this piece has more durability than the actual weapon, so it's incredibly useful for squishy guns as well. Other pieces that you can use, basically, you can use basically anything, but the punchers are a favorite of mine. They have really good ratios, and also you can use them to clip an angle, so to speak, so they tend not to impact on by here, for example, they tend not to impact on the firing angles of a weapon too much, which is also really nice. But you can use basically anything in the game, but if you are to use anything, the very first pieces you should try are the reinforced sections, because they're just the most useful. Okay, and for the final part, we've got what I was talking about, whereby we make the armor as tight to the firing angle as we possibly can. Now, I'm going to use a Mastodon spider as an example here, just because it illustrates what I mean. So, for example, if the Mastodons here can aim, obviously, this far down and this far up. Now, because they can aim certain far down, you're going to want to play with the armor to get these pieces here as close to the max fire as you can. So, for example, if I were to put this piece 1 square forward, and I would aim right with my gun, as you can see, my gun is now obstructed by the armor piece. If I put it 1 square back where it was originally, Now the firing angle is free. So you're going to want to get it as close to the piece as you can. Same with the icebreaker on my other side. Most of the damage of the build is going to come straight at the front because I'm a spider. I can keep my front towards the enemy nice and easy. And I wanted an icebreaker on the side of the gun just to act as additional armor. Now I could put this, say, here, and it still protects the gun, but it's not optimal. As you can see, the hit or the angle to my weapon is now much wider. So what you're going to do is just simply play with it. You go into test drive, you aim left. Okay, I can aim left. I'll put it, say, 2 squares forward. I can still aim left. The gun is obstructed. Perfect. I'll put it 1 more square forward. Okay, still free. 1 more square forward. Okay, now it's obstructed by the armor piece. So now I know I can put it back there, and that's as far forward as I can get it, whereby it doesn't obstruct the fire, but it still covers my weapon as much as possible. As you can see, the angle now is much tighter than if it was, back here, for instance. And that's only a little difference. It's not going to matter too much on, a 1500 durability Mastodon, but if you are trying to optimize your armor, you're going to want to play with the pieces and move them forward and back as far as you can so that they protect the gun as much as possible, but they don't obstruct the firing angle. Okay, actually, there's one more thing that I wanted to cover before I go. It kind of illustrates how important firing angles are in the game and the impact that they can have. So we'll take this Mastodon Spider as a perfect example. The armor in the middle is set up to be as tight to the firing angles as possible. That's because the Mastodon can aim down this far. Now, in a perfect world, what I would want to do is to make the angles of the Mastodon slightly tighter. So say instead of being able to aim this far down, it was able to aim this far down. That tighter angle would allow me to get, say, a second Goliath or more armor in between the weapons. But unfortunately, there isn't a bumper or anything that you can mount in the game that will reduce the Mastodon's firing angles by that much. If someone were to find that out, it would basically change this type of design or this type of build permanently, because that would be the new better way to do it, because you can now get more armor in between the guns. So I just wanted to show that even though firing angles don't seem too important when you're starting out, they can have a huge impact on the design of the build, and then that design obviously has a huge impact on the build's effectiveness. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope that covers essentially everything with regards to protecting your weapons in the game. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will catch you for tomorrow's video.